For a man like you who had always excelled in what he does, how did you handle the sudden change that your health concerns caused?
At the beginning, when I had those illnesses, especially, I found out from my oncologist that I need to have dialysis. I developed depression and anxiety. I would admit I'm afraid. There's a threat in my life. But then I realized if I will give in, I would die. I know I'm dying. So I made a devotional prayer for 7 nights. Then I said to myself, I should know and learn and fight this illness.
So what were your findings about your illness that led you to your healing journey?
First, I found out that my urologist confirmed I have BPH, benign prostate hypertrophy, and did a biopsy. And then again, he wanted to repeat the biopsy because my urine always has traces of blood. Given already I have GERD or acid reflux, and also my heart problem, which in the past already been diagnosed, so prognosis has enlargement and angina. Then after the surgery of my lower back, first I had a surgery on my neck. I have titanium plate between C4 to C7 and total of 8 screws. So basically I have only one disc left between T1 and C7. So any medical doctor that I spoke with, it's impossible for me to perform or do the active lifestyle, like playing golf, volleyball, ping pong, trekking, hiking. I can't do those anymore. So as a human being, what is life without those activities? And also I found out after that surgery of my lower back in 2005, that's the time my system, I would say the whole system went down. That's the time my doctor wanted to put me in a dialysis, or put a temporary access to my artery to do a dialysis, because my blood, all the blood analysis is leading to that I have a kidney problem. I had a kidney infection, it's confirmed, give me the medication, but I decided not to have dialysis. I decided just give me the medication, the antibiotic and other medication for the urologist for my prostate. And when the time I almost died, I put my focus to study why, as a human being, we live, how to fight the illness. At the same time, I forgot to mention that I lost an elder sister in leukemia. My father is diagnosed in San Jose, California, to have a multiple myeloma, meaning instead of red plasma cell, it's the cancer cell, it's the white plasma cell. All the symptoms, all the manifestation of multiple myeloma, to my dad, I have it. My primary doctor wanted me to do a biopsy or a bone marrow biopsy, but I declined because I saw my dad, the pain that he suffered during the biopsy. Plus, looking at the prognosis and manifestation, everything that my dad had, I have it. So why should I have go to those pain? So anyway, because of those illnesses, I put my focus, my skill as an engineer in the US, a semiconductor engineer, as an analyst, I convert that skill set or mindset to put in our body. I ask myself, why and how do we live? Why we are breathing? Why we are getting sick? Why we are dying? Is there a way to reverse all this? So my mind is questioning so many questions. Why my sister died? Why my dad died of cancer, of also dialysis? Why my grandma, my grandfather, my relatives, and me? I'm already in the point of dying. I ask myself, what should I do? Of course, first, I come to God. I pray. Actually, I pray for 7 nights. Then I study, and I research, and I discovered something that, based on that discovery, I use that to fight or to battle the illness that I have. Now I would say I won. But still in my mind, illness is a constant battle. Because the environment, the food, everything that surrounds us nowadays is no longer friendly to our organic body. So it's a constant, it's an endless fight. That's why people are wondering, even though millionaires, why they are dying. Even though they have money, they die. They can even buy hospital, but still they die. Because there's something that they don't understand. They believe something, but question, is that belief true or half only? They didn't give you the full information. So that's why I ask myself, why and how? So that's where I put my all molecules in my brain, my skills as an analyst of company to put together to my body and keep the whole focus. How do we live? Then I discovered something. Actually, that's the first time I curse in my life. I never curse anyone. I was brought up in the church. No, cursing is evil. I curse because the one I discovered is written in the books. I didn't invented it. It's there, the information, but people need to know what is this hidden or information that not given to humanity. That's I want to share. That's why I found out that life is a calculus or integral calculus. It's integration. So I call it how to control your life.
So what was this discovery?
This discovery is actually very basic. I call it the 3 major systems. If we ask the medical expert, in our anatomy, there's 7 systems. But there's 3 major, which is the digestive system, cardiovascular system, and the skeletal system. Those 3 make them healthy, provide the nutrients needed for every organ. You can control your health. I use the word discovery because I did not invent it. It's written in the books, even the anatomy books of the medical student. I read it, and I study every function of the organ. So I found this is integrated. For example, the digestive, according to the books, and even Hippocrates, the father of medicine, he said all illnesses, or majority of the illness, are related to our guts or digestive. In the US, they announced in a public network that 85% of the illness are related to our digestive. So right now, there's so many health experts focusing on the digestive. But then again, there's also always a misleading because of the business side. Then meaning if I fix or help my digestive system, I can address, or humanity can address 85% of the illness or health problem. But again, it's useless if your heart or the whole cardiovascular system are weak or not strong enough to supply, because all the food nutrients we eat will go to the digestive system. But in order to explore it or to distribute it throughout the body, we need a strong heart. So we need to help make the heart strong. It's a key. Now, if you have a strong heart, we need to make our skeletal system or the muscular skeletal system supply by the right and complete nutrients. Because I discovered, according to even to immunologists, that our bone marrow produce or synthesize proteoglycan, blood cell, immune cell, and platelets. But the very important there is the immune cell, which most of the health experts focus. They only focus on the immune system. To boost the immune system, then they ignore the 3 others, which is the proteoglycan, blood cell, and platelets. Those 3 are very important too. Just like in my case, I have titanium plate in my neck. I have the surgery. It's embedded, C4 to C7. I learned in order to make my dish healthy so I can enjoy life, I need to produce more than enough of proteoglycan. So when I did the research, in order to produce proteoglycan, we need to eat the right food. There's a right functional food in order the bone marrow to produce proteoglycan to make the dish healthy. But again, I was so happy studying the proteoglycan just for me to help myself to enjoy life. I also found that eating the right food and right amount also help to produce platelets, blood cells, and especially the immune cell. Those three major systems are the key. They are integrated. Help the digestive, make the liver, stomach, small and large intestine, pancreas, spleen, anus healthy. Then he can digest and process all the nutrients, food that we put in our body. And the heart will help to pump, to pressurize those nutrients inside the bone marrow to produce those 4 molecules or 4 cells, which is proteoglycan, blood cell, platelets, and immune cell. Those are the key. But we cannot produce those without the right nutrients, with the vitamin A to Z, minerals, and the 20 amino acids, the building block of a cell. We needed all those nutrients in order to control health.
So do you think we can get all this from the food that we have daily?
Yes. When I'm studying, I ask myself, I'm eating, right. My mom's cooking good food. Every time I travel, I go, because you travel in business class, everything is, you eat buffet, I eat everything. I found that also, that the food that we eat daily is no longer nutritionist. According to the books of nutritionists, we eat because of A to Z, minerals and amino acid. But there's 2 nutrients that's very vital. Vitamin C, which most of the food, fruits and vegetables, has vitamin C, which is also antioxidant. Because our body produces free radicals on a daily basis. Every time we move, we think, we produce free radical. So we need antioxidants. So most of the food that we eat, we drink, has vitamin C or antioxidant. Plus, every food, vegetable, fruits, and meat, has amino acids. Those 2 vital nutrients, vitamin C, antioxidant, and amino acids, has the requirements. If the temperature goes up to 70 degrees C, or let's say 75, 80, 90, they evaporate, they escape. How do we cook the food that we eat daily? We cook it in a boiling point. So where is the vital nutrients that our body needed?
The enzymes.
They're gone. So you mentioned, what about the food that we eat? Not to mention, remember, because it's supply and demand. To provide the supply to the demand of population explosion, they need to adopt chemicals, insecticides, pesticides, antibiotics, name it. They put that in the food to preserve and to supply enough supplies. So the food we eat, even though we eat fresh, there's a insecticide, there's a pesticide. Meat, there's an antibiotic, there's a growth hormones on the chicken, name it. And all those are chemicals. Like the feeds for the fish, for the chicken, the government admitted they put chemicals like arsenic to prevent the food will be rotten. So all those things are in our supply of food. So we eat today, but we also eating, I would say, I hate to use this, but we also eating toxin and poison. Yes. Not to mention we cook food. So meaning we no longer eating properly. So even though we eat 3 times a day, and many people doesn't even eat 3 times a day, we're gonna get sick. Now, how you gonna fight that? That's my question. When I learned from the nutritionist side that the food that we eat is no longer food. You know, it took me 3.5 years to find the right company. I know the product. I already know what functional food that I need. but so many companies in the market. So I check almost every companies. And also I learned that the organic matter, especially the nutrients, or I call it functional food, has to be prepared in a certain way in order to put in the market, to put in a capsule or any form, how they will be delivered and be consumed. The cheapest way is they use hot process, quick and profitable. The other one, it's slower but expensive, less profit to the company. It's called cold process. There's one called air dry process, which is also impractical to some of the nutrients. So some nutrients is okay, but not the rest, because the product will be rotten. When I'm looking for the proper nutrients for myself, I just want to be healthy and enjoy life and see my children to grow up. I have a criteria for the company. Make sure they will meet the criteria of how they prepare the product and the right components and the right dosage. And most of the company that I try, even a US company, hardly pass. Maybe I'm so fortunate in 2009. It took me 3.5 years. I found a company in California. From that day, I set aside a budget for my life, for my health. Personally, I'm spending for my health, for those food. I'm budgeting myself already more than $250 a month. But in return, I can play golf, I can go trekking, I look younger, I enjoy life, I can travel, I can do whatever I want. And I can share this knowledge that I discovered. The changes that I saw in myself, I also then before I took the product, there's a healing crisis.
Yes. What was that healing crisis you went through?
For gout, it's about 7 days. But for the cancer and also for my kidney problem, the whole thing is about 6 months. That I can see the big changes from my life. I'll show you the picture. There's a picture from when I was sick, 2009, and then after 10 months of taking the product, you can see the big transformation. Because I had cancer in the blood, every night I had chill. I thought I have fever, but every time my wife checked the temperature, I have no fever, but I'm chilling. Sometimes my whole body is shaking because I'm fighting a cancer in the blood. Yes. Even my prostate, I experienced for several months that I have severe pain in my prostate area.
While taking
the product, I have pain. But the first thing I noticed in a month, I don't go frequently in the bathroom at night. That a relief right away. And also my acid reflux. Oh, this is funny. The digestive, the acid reflux. First time I took 2 products for my digestive, the reaction or the healing crisis is you will fart a lot in the beginning. But there's no smell. That's okay. There's only it lasts the farting probably almost more than 3 weeks. But after that, no more acid reflux.
So with all these concerns that you had with your health, how many products were you taking?
Presently right now I'm taking about 10 products myself.
Yes.
And I never miss a single day without it. Because I know illness is a constant battle.
Yes. And it's good you didn't give up during the healing crisis, because a lot of people, once they go through that, they get scared and then they stop. And it's hard to discern if it's really a healing crisis or if it's bad for you.
That's why
how were you able to address that?
Yeah, every time they invited me for a talk, or every time I talk to one, I always mention that I keep on stressing there will be a healing crisis and you have to fight. You have to keep your focus because there will be a healing crisis. Even on the synthetic world, there's a healing crisis. Before you get better, you're going to get worse. Especially gout. If someone has a gout, I'll tell you, when you have a gout, when you took the product, in days, you will suffer. And we always said that to the person who has gout. Be patient. try to bear at least 3 to 7 days, and depending on the metabolism of a person. There's some who take them 3 days, 4 days. Some took them 7 days. The older we get, the longer, because our metabolism slows down.
So at this point, Zenir, where will you say your health situation is?
Right now, first thing, I just came back from my urologist this April. This is funny. What he told me, he said, you know, Zenir, I'm happy for you. I'll remove you from the list of a patient under urologist or BPH. He's sad because he lost a patient. And also, if you can see my picture in the past, like especially in 2009, you can see the difference in my complexion. Without going to the spa or anything, it changed. And inside me, I can feel the difference. That when I was almost died, and even when I was 36 years old, when I'm traveling 38, I cannot do what I can do now. I'm much stronger now than before I get worse. I can feel I'm very live. I'm very alive. I was able to battle that. I was able to battle my anxiety and my depression, because I know in myself right now, I feel I have no illness. I can drive in the traffic in the Philippines for more than 3 hours without going to the bathroom. Before, I cannot. I can go to the plane. I can go to the mountain. Imagine, with my titanium in my neck, I'm not supposed to play golf. I'm playing golf. Actually, that's one of the criteria of product. When I'm searching for the product to complement my research, my 3 major system, that's one of the criteria. They must have a product. For example, first they have a product for the liver. Liver is part of the digestive. They must have some components to cleanse the liver, and also to help the liver to remove the chemicals and poison. I found that astragalus root is very powerful. Sisanda berries, according to the study of scientists, is very powerful to make the liver healthy. It's known to everyone, the milk thistle or the silymarin. But silymarin alone, it's good. But if you combine with another component, it'll make your liver healthy. And also the glutathione L, or has to be L-glutathione. I found that that's why you notice my skin glow, because of the glutathione that intake. That's for the liver, make the liver healthy. And also the SOD enzyme. SOD enzyme or superoxide dismutase enzyme, according to the research in LA, they will make you 7 years younger. So those components, so I call it functional food. Some people call it supplement. No, I call it functional food. Only concentrated, designed by the nature to address the problem in our liver. So if someone will come to you, oh, Marie, take this, SOD is good for you, but not knowing exactly what it does. So that is and then that's for the liver only. Now about the stomach, which the concern in our stomach, which I learned that cause of the gastritis, ulcer, and colon cancer, it's confirmed by scientists in Australia that H. pylori bacteria or Helicobacter bacteria is the cause of this gastritis, ulcer, and colon cancer. So how are we going to fight this bacteria? That even in acidic environment, they can survive. That even though you took antibiotic, even the highest, strongest, they can survive, they can hide. So, and I found that that's organic, like right amount of vitamin A, like broccoli extract, those broccoli extract, and also ginger root, plus copper and zinc will defeat the bacteria. But some people just say, oh, copper is good, or ginger root, like from the yellow ginger. Ginger oil is good, but if you put it together with other components, I will use that analogy of, I don't know, in my time, there's a cartoon movie called Voltes 5. One component or one hero can fight, he's strong. But if you put together those 5, they become Voltes 5, and they are powerful. That's the people doesn't understand. I call it the synergy. So those components that the scientists Actually, majority of the report is coming from NIH, National Institute of Health, are powerful for the stomach to kill bacteria, and the other components for the liver. Also in 2002, I learned from one of the PhD MD in UCLA or Mount Sinai Hospital. He taught me, because I'm suffering acid reflux, he taught me about the 12 types of probiotic, good bacteria who kill pathogens. But he told me, I always remember, but Zenir, remember, there's 12 good probiotic, but only 6 are essential. The other are good bacteria, but they do not kill pathogen. So in my mind, in 2002, I have to find that 6 probiotic. You won't believe. I explore United States to find who can supply that. Took me 4 years to find a company that has 6 essential probiotic. I found a company in Japan, but they put it together the 12, and they use pellets. And in my research, I need something in a capsulated so that I can intake in an empty stomach. That's also the thing. Note, Mary, on the probiotic, many people make a mistake, probably because of the business side. They said, oh, Lactobacillus casei is good because it's one. And people produce that in the business. But they never mention that you have to take it in an empty stomach. Because it has to go inside your small intestine to be effective to kill the pathogens. So that's why probiotic, I learned in 2002, must be taken on an empty stomach. That's only for the digestive. Now on the cardiovascular system, when I'm doing the research, I found a research of NIH again. They donated $9.5 million to San Diego State University, confirming that alpha-lipoic acid is very powerful to make the mitochondrial cell of the heart. Given to the study vitamin E, omega-3, B6, B12, and folic acid. So, and alpha-lipoic acid, those components designed by nature to make the whole, not only the heart, the blood vessel included, to make it all stronger. Because they're the one who will oxygenate the whole body. He will pressurize the nutrients that we eat, that our digestive will take, to push to the bone marrow so that the bone marrow will produce those 4, I call it internal doctors, which are the proteoglycan, blood cell, platelets, and immune cell. But the bone marrow cannot produce those 4 internal doctors if we do not eat the right amount of vitamin A to Z, minerals, and amino acids. Again, amino acid, vitamin C, and tells that if we cook, they're gone. So my criteria for the amino acid, I always ask, do you use cold process, extraction? I have requirements. I've been looking for 3.5 years for that company. It's hard to find. I thought, actually, in 2008, I gave up. I thought to myself, Zenir, give up. There's no more company who can provide, who can meet the requirements that I set a bar. But again, Mary, because I have a health issue back then, I buy anything I can buy. If I found a company, I'll buy it. But I found it sometimes it's not effective. But I have no choice.
Yes,
I have to fight.
Yes.
But then 2009, that's the time it was introduced, a company in LA. And after that, everything changed. Now I can explore my life. I can travel. I can play golf. I can go trekking. I can drive even for 5 hours.
And better yet, now you're sharing your knowledge.
That's the thing. That's one thing I mentioned.
Helping others.
Life is about sharing. Don't be selfish. Let's help people. That's why I even myself, I have a charity. I spend days for charity.
So Zenir, since 2009, you've been healthy.
Yes.
Healthy as a bee.
Actually, I feel stronger now than before.
Amazing.
The opposite.
And you look very young.
Actually, my eyeglass, even my doctor in the US, since I started taking the product that I discovered, I also found, My eyeglass prescription, instead of, remember, when we age, it should be worse.
Yeah.
Mine is the opposite. It's getting better.
Oh, I need that.
Actually, I increased one of the product that I intake. Instead of taking twice a day, I took it 3 times a day. Then I see the changes is faster.
Okay.
For me, what is life or what is wealth without your health? People always say, that's the thing I also discovered with the humanity. They will spend or they will sacrifice health to gain wealth. Then they will recuperate health, spending all their money. But then they never have a life. That's I was dead before. Because I was illness. I spent my life as an engineer, travel here, buy this, but it's all nothing when the health hits you. And most of the people now will do things, will focus their mind, their effort, their time to gain wealth. They ignore the health. But there's always hypocrisy. When you ask them verbally, oh no, I care about my health, but they're not doing anything. It's only a word. I encounter many people like that.
And that was you also before.
Yes, I was there.
You were given a second lease on life.
That's why I always use life is about learning, improvement,
Yeah.
focus, and explore. And also improve, change, and explore.
And this is the better Zenir
Yes.
now, 2018.
For me, the secret of change is focus. Yeah, people say, oh, I care about my health, but they don't put action.